Chapter 4 homework. Alright, so we experimented with Chapter 3, doing just a big problem, because most of the problems for Chapter 3 were again adjusting. This one adds a little bit different, but mostly it's closing entries. So again, you're going to find a little bit more where I have to kind of skip as we go further. But the first thing that ends up happening is this is a book static problem, so I can't really give you the answers. But all this is really saying is what category would these items appear under a classified balance sheet? It even gives you that. But that's besides the point. So, first one that we have is we're going to create the financial statements. So again, you can always read the requirements. 1, 2, 3. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to put the trial balance over here. And remember this, the first statement always goes with income statement. And that's always the bottom half of the trial balance. So starting out with the revenue. So again, revenue always first. And then we go find service revenue. And using the number on our trial balance, all we have to do is enter it. Then next is our expenses, which of course, as you can see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First one is salaries expense. Whoop, that's payable. There it is. We'll label that 26,500. Then you have supplies expense of 9,100. Remember, we always use an adjusted trial balance for this. Depreciation expense, building, 3,200. Furniture, 1,000. And then, of course, advertising expense of 10,800. That's it. We only had 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now we just got to find the total of these. So, calculator's coming out. Let's clear all this. So we had 26,500 plus 9,100 plus 3,200, 1,000. Whoops. 26,500 plus 91 plus 32, 1,000 plus, to finish off, 10,800. So we had a total expense of 50,600. Okay, again, as a refresh, revenue minus expense. This one's actually a net loss. Wow. We did not do so good. So, 44,500. Yep. Minus 5,600. We have a negative 6,100. Now I think in the instructions, just use minus sign or parentheses. And that's again all that is with the income statement. A little bit easier now with the trial balance. So check. Good job. We are good. There it is. Next is doing the statement of retained earnings. So retained earnings on the adjusted, if there's a number, it is always that number to begin with. Okay? And then of course we always add our net. Well, we actually have net loss. So we usually add them. It's negative. And this is actually saying, yep, use the minus sign or parentheses to show the loss. So there's our negative. And then of course we take our dividends, and we have 17,200 in dividends. Wow, this company had net loss and they still paid out dividends. Way to go for them. And of course we always subtract dividends, so I don't have to put negative there. So 33,200 minus 6,100 and 7,200. We're left with 9,900. That is a bad year. That's a big loss overall. Okay, we're good. And there you go. Again, you can show the parentheses if you want to. They went ahead and converted it. All their concern was what net loss must be negative. But that's really it on that. Again, it's the same stuff that we've gone over before. But this is the new one. Again, this is the classified balance sheet. So always start with current assets. So we're going to start from the top now. And guess what? They're pretty much in order again. So we have cash, we have accounts receivable, and we have office supplies. And remember, current assets are always what's going to be ending within a year, what we're going to use up, what we're going to cash out. So it's always at the end of the year, and it's always in the order of liquidity, which they always show it. So there's total current assets. Let's see, we got 14,300, 15,100, and 6,200. So again, we got to add those together. 14,300, 15,100 plus 6,200 equal 35,600. Okay, not bad. Okay, so far they're only having us do the asset side. So next is property, plant, and equipment. So again, we'll have land first. And land is 17,700. Reason why, again, if you look at these, less, but land does not have accumulated depreciation. It does not depreciate because it lasts forever. Next, we got our building, which was 4,800, less our accumulated depreciation on the building, 36,500. Then we have our furniture. There it is. And then less there, that's not it. There it is. Accumulated depreciation furniture. Okay, and then this will be total property, plant, equipment since we got multiple numbers. Now we gotta find how much book value these items are. So 4,800 minus 36,500 equals 11,500. Then we have 18500 minus 14400 equals 4100. Whoops. Okay, now all we have to do is add all of our fixed assets together after depreciation. So we have 17,700 plus 11,500, then 4,100. And we're left with 33,300. Now remember, your numbers are going to be different than mine. They're going to be similar. So, same problem, just different numbers. So, everything should still match up. Of course, this is total assets. So, take our numbers, 35,600 plus 33,300. And we have 68,900 for total assets. Okay, check. We're all good. That's only one half of the classified. Now we get to do the other half of the classified. Which I kind of like that it broke it up like that. So current liabilities. Right here we have 3. We of course have accounts payable, salaries payable, and unearned revenue. So again, copy. So 10,100, 7,400, and then 13,500. Okay. Again, same thing like current assets. Current liabilities are liabilities that we expected to pay before the year end. Alright, so they're going to go with total liabilities because I don't see a total current liabilities. Nope. So we're going to go with total liabilities on this case because there's no long term. Usually if there's long term items, then we'll have total current. So again, math going on. 10,100 plus 74. 13,500. Alright, 31,000. Alright, next, stockholders' equity, always common stock and retained earnings. Nothing ever changes there. Common stock, we can pull 28,000. And remember this, retained earnings, you have to go back to the retained earnings statement and pull the ending balance, which was 9,900. Okay. This is of course our total stockholders equity. So 2,800 plus 9,900, 37,900. Okay. Total liabilities and stockholders equity should equal 68,900. If we did add those together, they indeed make 68,900. Check. We are good. That's it for question number 2. It's just really taking the information from the adjusted and throwing it on the financial statements. Okay. So, right here, we have again the adjusted trial balance. So here's our adjusted. And now we're going to make our closing entries. Remember, there's 4 transactions. One is always we close revenue first. Second, we close out expense. Third is always income summary. And then fourth is dividends. So let's go first. Closing revenues. So taking your trial balance, here's our service revenue. And remember, that's a positive amount for them. So we have to do the opposite to close it to bring it to zero. So that means we're going to take service revenue. We're going to debit 17,100. And we're going to credit income summary by 17,100. Okay? And then of course you gotta put your explanation to close revenue. Check. Good job. Now here comes the expenses. So first off, we know it's income summary as our debit. And now we list all the expenses and we put them as credit. So salaries expense, rent expense, then we got depreciation, supplies, and then finally utilities. Okay, then we're going to have to add all these together. So 4,300 plus 1,300 plus 300 plus 400 and 700 ends up being $7,000. That will be our debit. Again, income summary is always the total of all these. And that is going to be to close expense. Check. We are good. Now here comes the income summary. First off, you can already see here's our credit, here's our debit. And basically take the difference. So if you do it this way, if it's negative, that means again it has a credit balance, which means income, which also means we're going to have to debit the account. So income summary is going to get debited for 10,100. Then we're going to credit retained earnings for the same amount. Again, this is just adding the net income into retained earnings. Nothing too bad. So if you subtract 2, so subtract your debit, or basically your credit from your debit. So 7,000 minus 17,100. If it comes out negative, we're going to have to debit income summary. If it comes out positive, we're going to have to credit income summary. That's a little bit easier way to think of. Alright, so the last one that we do is, of course, dividends. And dividends is not going to be a debit. It's going to be retained earnings. Because again, dividends is already a debit in trial balance. So we have to do the opposite. So it's always like expense. And to close dividends, there we go. So, how much net income or net loss did Sully Company earn? This we don't need anymore. So, we can find out that this one had a net income, again, of 10,100. We know this because, again, service revenue exceeded total expense by this amount balanced in income summary when it's closed. Okay, and that's it for question number 3 out of 4. Alright, so right here, we're going to do closing entries again. I'm going to go ahead and do this one with y'all. Actually, no, I'm going to second guess that because I really do want y'all to kind of do this on your own to see how you do. Now, the only difference is this time around, it is taking the T accounts. Okay, so we have one revenue, so you got to total them around, total it, and then of course we have the expenses. So you only have total salaries expense, the rest you do not. Not much actually here, so that's actually a good sign. And then there's your retained earnings and your dividends. So remember, close out your revenue first, then your expenses, then income summary, then close out dividends. Biggest thing that they want to know after you're done that is what is the ending balance in retained earnings. So basically take this T account, so it starts at $55,000, and then when you close out income summary, of course add that net income or subtract the net loss, depending on which journal entry you're doing. I feel like this is going to have a net loss very easily for mine, but you may have a net income, I don't know. And then of course dividends, this is going to be a debit for retained earnings, so we already know that's going to subtract, and you just have to figure it out as you go. But yeah, if you again have any questions, please let me know. I will help you out. Again, I want at least to see if y'all can do this. Okay? So, y'all have a good one, and I will see y'all next time.